The Galaxy Council Hall was one of the greatest structures ever built in the Milky Way. It was a place where hundreds of alien species gathered to make peace, solve conflicts, and keep the galaxy stable. But today, the hall felt different. There was a heavy silence, a strange tension in the air, as if something terrible was about to happen. No one spoke. No one moved. Every delegate in the massive circular chamber stared at the central hologram, an enormous glowing sphere showing the Milky Way. A red marker blinked on the outer spiral arm. It pulsed slowly like a heartbeat. It showed the last known location of the human ambassador. Then the hologram flickered. A final message played. It was a recording. The tall human ambassador stood in the council hall, wearing a dark navy uniform, his expression cold and controlled. His voice echoed around the room. "If you ignore the truth, then you no longer deserve our help." He paused. His eyes scanned the assembled races, anger, disappointment, and something deeper, something wounded. "Humanity asked for unity. You gave us silence." Then he walked out. The recording ended. The hall remained silent, but now it was a fearful silence. Every representative felt the shock in their bones. Humans had never spoken like this before. They were known for being bold, yes, but also patient. They believed in alliances. They believed in building bridges. They believed in peace, and they had just abandoned peace talks. For the first time in centuries, the council speaker, an ancient insectoid elder, slowly rose. His legs shook slightly. "Delegates," he said in a thin, clicking voice, "we must understand what has happened. Humans do not leave without reason." A murmur spread across the chamber, fearful, confused, uncertain. A reptilian representative slammed his claws onto the table. "This is dangerous. Humans walking out means something terrible has happened. They do not threaten easily. They do not give up easily." Another alien with a shimmering crystal-like body whispered, "Did someone betray them? Did someone hide information?" The room grew colder, because many of them already knew the answer. The council had made mistakes, serious ones, but no one expected humanity to react like this. Hours earlier, before the humans walked out, the council had received a distress signal from the human frontier, weak and broken, but full of terror. A single sentence repeated through static. "They came from the dark, the stars went out." The council's intelligence team marked the signal as unverified. They assumed it was a technical glitch, or pirates exaggerating their attack. The human ambassador had requested an emergency session, but the council delayed it. They had delayed it for 3 days. In those 3 days, a human colony vanished. Not conquered, not destroyed, vanished, and the council had said nothing. They did not warn humanity. They did not send scouts. They did not even admit they knew. And now, today, humanity learned the truth. Back in the hall, the council speaker tapped the desk again. "We must understand what drove them away. Play the rest of the report." The screens lit up. Several analysts stood at the center dais, bowing nervously. Their bodies shook. They knew the room was angry, unstable, unpredictable. One analyst, a young avian with blue feathers, spoke first. "We traced the energy signature around the destroyed human ships. It does not match any known weapon or species." The room quieted. "Show the images," the speaker ordered. The hologram changed. Photos of ruined human ships hovered in the air, torn apart, burned, twisted by unknown forces. The hulls were dark, as if the metal had been drained of light itself. Gasps filled the hall. "What weapon does this?" Someone whispered. "It is not a weapon," the avian analyst said softly. "It is a feeding pattern." A horror passed through the room. Another analyst, this one a long-necked aquatic being, added, "The signatures match earlier discoveries from the council's deep space probes." Senior delegate frowned. "How old are these probe readings?" The aquatic hesitated. 7 months. Shouts exploded. "You knew. 7 months. Why were we not told? Why was humanity not warned?" All eyes turned to the council's intelligence director, a tall, gray-skinned alien with narrow, glowing eyes. He remained cold, composed, but spoke quietly. "We believed the threat was dormant. We believed it would not reach populated space." "And you were wrong," someone roared. The director remained silent. The speaker's voice cracked with fear. "If humanity believes we hid this from them intentionally," the reptilian representative finished the sentence in a whisper, "then they will see it as betrayal." Meanwhile, across the galaxy, far from the council hall, the human fleet prepared for war. Inside Terra Command Station, a vast ring-shaped structure orbiting Earth, General Lyra Vance stood in front of a massive tactical screen. Her jaw was tight, her eyes sharp and tired. She had not slept in 2 days. None of her staff had. Behind her, dozens of officers moved between bright holographic displays tracking ship movements, energy readings, and civilian evacuations. Humanity had gone silent toward the Council, but inside their own borders everything was loud. They were preparing for something huge. The young communications officer, Jackson Hale, stepped forward. "General, another message from the colony's families. They want answers." Lyra closed her eyes for a moment. The pain was clear on her face. "We all want answers, Jackson." She tapped a button on the console, showing the last message from the destroyed colony. It was filled with screams, static, and one terrifying phrase. "The stars went out." Lyra's voice broke softly. "We begged the Council for help. They ignored us. They left us blind." Jackson clenched his fists. "What now, General?" Lyra turned, her expression hardened. "Now, humanity protects itself, with or without them." Around her, the human fleet began activating old war protocols, ancient systems locked since the Galactic Peace Accords 2 centuries earlier. Massive engines roared to life. War satellites realigned in orbit. Deep space listening towers lit up, searching for the unknown enemy. Humanity had been peaceful for generations, but they had never forgotten how to fight. Back in the council hall, panic rose. "We must call the humans back," the speaker insisted. "We must show them the truth." A representative from a plant-like species shook his head. "They shut down every diplomatic channel. Even their emergency frequencies are blocked." "They are preparing for something," another added. "Their borders are sealed." Fear ran through the chamber like a cold wind. The council was losing control of the situation, of the galaxy, and of humanity. One race after another started admitting secrets. "We received human distress reports too. We saw unknown ships near the human frontier. We detected starfield disturbances." Every new confession fueled the fire. The speaker felt the weight of guilt crushing him. How could we have been so blind? Humanity asked for unity, and we gave them silence. The crystal-bodied delegate spoke quietly. "If we do not repair this bond, the galaxy may break." At that exact moment, billions of kilometers away, the human flagship Sol's Wrath prepared to depart Terra Command. The ship was enormous, dark, armored, shaped like a flying spear aimed at the deepest parts of space. Captain Arden Locke stood on the bridge, his expression calm but intense. The ship's crew watched him with trust and fear. They knew they were heading toward something deadly. "Status report," he said. "All ships ready. Engines at full power. Weapons systems online." Arden nodded. "Good. Today we take back our future." A young lieutenant swallowed nervously. "Sir, what about the council? Should we send them a final message?" Arden's eyes narrowed. "We already did." "What message, sir?" Arden stared at the dark space ahead. Silence. The council hall received the silence like a slap to the face. "They will not answer. They are shutting us out." The despair in the room grew heavier. Delegates began to realize something they never expected. Without humanity, the galaxy was weaker. Not because humans were the strongest species, but because humans never gave up. They faced darkness with courage. They fought impossible battles. They united planets that once hated each other, and now they were alone, by choice, because the council had failed them. The speaker whispered the words no one wanted to hear. "We may have lost humanity." A cold silence followed. It was the kind of silence that meant danger, regret, and fear. The reptilian delegate shook his head. "No, we did not lose them. We pushed them away." The speaker looked at the star map, at the blinking red signal where the human fleet massed. "If we cannot fix this," he said quietly, "the galaxy will face the darkness alone." The chamber fell into hopeless quiet, because everyone knew one terrifying truth: humanity was preparing for war, and the enemy that wiped out a colony was still out there, waiting, watching. The galaxy did not sleep that night. After humanity abandoned the peace talks, fear spread like wildfire. Thousands of worlds watched human borders go dark, their signals blocked, their fleets moving in silent formation. No one knew what the humans were planning, but everyone knew it was serious. And somewhere in the deep void, past the edge of known space, something older than civilization itself was waking. Inside the Galaxy Council Hall, the atmosphere had grown darker than ever before. No one argued now. No one shouted. The delegates sat still, their faces tense, their eyes fixed on a new hologram projection floating above the center table. A swirling mass of black energy spun inside the hologram, alive, shifting, impossible to understand. This, the avian analyst said, matches the energy found at the human colony site. The room grew colder, the speaker leaned forward. What exactly is it? The analyst shook his head. We do not know, but humans call it the Void Serpent. Their deep space probes recorded this name before their data streams went silent. A tremor ran through the chamber. The reptilian representative gripped the table tightly. Show us more. The hologram shifted, showing several blurry frames. At first it looked like broken static, then a horrifying shape emerged, long, twisting, ghost-like, made of shadows and stars. Its mouth wasn't a mouth at all, but a void that swallowed light. Gasps filled the chamber. The crystal-bodied delegate whispered, "It eats light." The aquatic analyst nodded. Yes, and maybe more. Silence swallowed the room, because if something could consume light, then it could consume anything. The intelligence director stepped forward. His voice was steady, but there was something uneasy beneath it. The creature, or creatures, live in the dark space between star systems. They hunt energy, and when they feed, the nearby stars dim. It is possible the human colony was not attacked, it was eaten. The delegates stared in horror. And humans learned this before we did. Someone demanded. The director hesitated, then nodded. Yes. Their early warning ships caught the first clear footage. They requested immediate support, and we delayed. No one finished the sentence. They didn't need to. Meanwhile, deep within human territory, the fleet moved like a silent storm. Thousands of ships left their ports, traveling through hyperlanes with military precision. The flagship Saul's Wrath led the formation. Inside its command deck, Captain Arden Locke studied the massive tactical display. It showed human space in blue and a small patch of red at its outer border. The lost colony. Beside him, Lieutenant Ren Kim tapped several controls. We have energy readings again, sir. Same pattern as before, weak but present. Arden frowned. Show me. The screen zoomed in. A flickering wave of darkness moved slowly across the map like a shadow swimming underwater. Jackson, the communications officer, pointed. Sir, it's heading toward another human system. The temperature in the room seemed to drop. Arden exhaled slowly. Then we moved faster. Back at Terra Command, General Lyra Vance supervised the mobilization of civilians. Tens of thousands were being moved to underground shelters and fortified stations. Her second-in-command, Major Ellis, approached with a worried expression. General, the scientists are requesting more time. They want to study the Void Serpent samples. Lyra shook her head. We've already lost a colony. Time is our enemy. But they say the energy samples are unstable. They might explode. Lyra's voice softened. Ellis, I know our scientists want answers, but right now we need protection. We need shields. We need weapons. Ellis leaned in. Do you really think we can fight something that eats stars? Lyra didn't answer. She looked out the massive window where Earth floated below, blue, beautiful, fragile. It doesn't matter what I think, she finally said. Humanity has no choice. Far from Earth, inside the council hall, the debate had shifted. No one argued about politics now. The question was survival. A large amphibian delegate raised his hand. We must send aid to the humans. We must show that the council regrets its mistake. Others murmured support, but the intelligence director shook his head. Humanity blocked all communication. They will not receive our messages. Then we go in person. The reptilian representative shouted. The speaker looked uneasy. And if they see our ships entering their space, will they see it as help or as intrusion? The room faltered because none of them knew. Humans were wounded, proud, angry, and very dangerous. The crystal-bodied delegate spoke softly. If we lose the humans, the galaxy will not survive this enemy. The speaker asked, what makes you so sure? The crystal being glowed faintly. Because only the humans push back the dark without fear. Only they run toward danger instead of away from it. We all know this. The hall fell silent. No one disagreed. In the dark void beyond the frontier, the human fleet finally reached the edge of the ruined colony system. The moment they arrived, the stars looked wrong, dim, sick, as if something had drunk their light. A low alarm rang across the bridge of Saul's Wrath. Energy spike. Ren shouted. Unstable readings, multiple locations. Arden stood. Show it on screen. The front window turned black. Not because the view changed, but because something blocked the light. A shadow, no, a shape, long, twisting, massive. It moved like smoke, but with purpose, drifting through the star field with silent hunger. Jackson whispered, "My God." Arden narrowed his eyes. "That's it, the void serpent." Another officer pointed. "Sir, look behind it, more shadows." 3, 5, 7. Arden felt his heartbeat slow. Multiple serpents. A pack. Are they attracted to stars? Ren asked quietly. "No," Arden replied, "they're attracted to energy." Ren stiffened. "Sir, our ships are energy." Arden didn't hesitate. "Raise shields, prepare long-range weapons, bring all ships into defense formation Delta." The fleet moved instantly. Blue shields flared around the hundreds of ships, glowing brightly against the darkness. The shadows turned toward the light and began to move. On the council station orbiting the capital world, a young technician ran into the speaker's private chambers, panting. "Sir, new data from human space." The speaker turned. "What is it?" The technician passed a glowing pad. "Our deep-range sensors detected something, a massive burst of energy, then sudden light distortion." The speaker frowned. "Is it the humans firing weapons?" The technician shook his head, trembling. "No, sir, the distortion, it came from something else." The speaker's hands grew cold. "From the enemy?" The technician whispered, "We think, yes." The speaker closed his eyes. "And the humans? They're engaging it alone." Back at the battle, the first void serpent struck, gliding across space like a shadow made of hunger. Its body stretched for kilometers, its surface shifting like liquid night. When it touched a human frigate's shield, the glowing barrier flickered, dimmed, and went out completely as if drained. The ship inside exploded in an instant. Jackson gasped. "Sir, shields are useless." Arden clenched his jaw. "Then we change tactics, channel all energy into weapons." "But sir, do it." The human fleet roared to life. Hundreds of plasma cannons fired streaks of burning blue light across the void. Missiles launched from hidden compartments. The space around them blazed like a second sun, but the serpent turned. And all that light bent into it, swallowed whole. Ren's voice cracked. "Weapons do nothing." Arden stared at the impossible creature. Its void mouth rippled as it consumed starfire without slowing. "No," he said quietly, "not nothing." The serpent paused only for a moment, barely noticeable, but Arden saw it. "It reacts to energy," he muttered. "What if we overload it?" Ren blinked. "Sir, are you suggesting?" "Yes, we feed it more than it can take." Jackson swallowed hard. "Sir, that will destroy our ship." Arden finished. "I know." The bridge fell silent. Everyone stared at him. He wasn't proposing a tactic. He was proposing a sacrifice. Arden exhaled. "Send a message to General Vance. Tell her we found the enemy." Jackson hesitated, and after that, Arden looked at the shadows closing in. "We buy humanity time." Meanwhile, deep inside Terra Command, General Lyra Vance received the message. Jackson's voice played through the speaker, shaky but steady. "General, they're here. Multiple targets. Captain Locke is holding them back. He says you need to activate Protocol Titan." Ellis froze. "Titan, but that's..." Lyra didn't let him finish. She already knew. Protocol Titan was humanity's final contingency, something built long ago, something sealed away, something powerful enough to shake the galaxy. She whispered, "Arden, what are you doing?" The message ended with static. Ellis whispered, "General, what now?" Lyra stared at the dark sky. "Now," she said, her voice trembling with grief and steel. "Now we do what humans always do, we fight back." And far out in the void, Captain Arden Locke stood on the bridge as the first void serpent closed in, its shadow stretching across the stars. He whispered one final line to himself, "Humanity does not run." Then he gave the order, "Begin overload." The ship glowed brighter and brighter until it looked like a small sun. The serpent lunged. Not peaceful, never peaceful now, but silent in the way a battlefield becomes silent after the first terrible strike. The blast from Saul's wrath had created a sphere of white fire in the darkness, a bright wound in the starless void. For a moment the light outshone every star nearby, and then it faded, slowly, sadly, like a candle dying. What remained was dust, debris, a broken shadow drifting apart. And yet not a single human ship moved. Every captain, every crew member, every soldier had frozen in shock. They watched the aftermath through trembling screens and visor feeds. They saw the space where Saul's Wrath once stood, the flagship of humanity, the pride of their fleet. Gone. Captain Arden Locke was gone. A silence deeper than space itself filled every human heart. On the bridge of the carrier Iron Dawn, Lieutenant Ren Kim stood with shaking hands, unable to pull his eyes away from the fading burst. He really did it. No one spoke. Ren swallowed hard. Captain Locke bought us time, we must use it. Jackson Hale wiped his face with a trembling hand. He wasn't crying, but he wasn't far from it. We need to regroup, we need to call Terra, we need to. His sentence died in his throat because the screen flickered and something moved in the darkness. Not one thing, not two, dozens. The void serpents drifted back into view, wounded, yes. Slower, yes, but alive. Their forms trembled like shadows shaken by a strong wind. Arden's sacrifice had hurt them, but not killed them. Ren whispered, then we must make his sacrifice worth something. He turned sharply. All ships fall back 10,000 kilometers, regroup into formation Zeta, keep distance between each other. If one ship is lost, the chain reaction must be avoided. The fleet obeyed immediately. Human discipline held firm even through grief, but fear had returned, and the shadows were coming. At Terra Command Station, General Lyra Vance stood stiff as stone while Arden's final message replayed one last time. The words crackled with static. Activate Protocol Titan. Silence followed. Ellis spoke softly. General, if we activate Titan, there is no going back. Lyra closed her eyes. She remembered Arden's laugh, his stubbornness, the way he always believed humans could survive anything. He believed, even when she didn't. She opened her eyes. There is no choice, she said. Ellis swallowed. Yes, ma'am. He tapped a series of commands. Multiple security doors locked open. Emergency lights turned red. Warning messages flashed everywhere. Titan Protocol, Level Omega access confirm. Ellis looked at Lyra for the final time. She nodded once. He pressed the command. A deep rumble ran through the entire station, an ancient system waking after centuries of sleep. Lyra whispered, "May our ancestors guide us." Far away at the council hall, panic had reached a breaking point. "We must intervene," the reptilian representative roared. "Humans cannot fight this alone. They will see our ships as a threat," argued another. The speaker slammed his staff. Silence. The hall froze. The speaker's voice was thin but firm. "Do any of you understand? If humanity falls, we fall. The void serpents will not stop at human systems. They will spread." He looked around the chamber. "Fear has made us blind. We did not help them when they needed us, but we can still help them now." The crystal body delegate flickered with nervous energy. "Sir Speaker, help them how? They block all contact." "Then we force contact," the speaker said. "We send a single envoy ship. No weapons, no threats, only a message." "What message?" Someone scoffed. The speaker replied softly, "Forgive us." Murmurs spread, shocked, doubtful, frightened. "Will they accept forgiveness?" An amphibian asked. "No," the speaker said honestly, "but they will accept the truth." He gestured to the hologram showing the void serpents moving toward another human system. "And the truth is we were wrong and they were right." Back in human space, the fleet retreated carefully. Ren's commands kept them alive, but the serpents were closing in. Jackson shouted, "Ren, the shadows, their changing pattern." Ren leaned over the screen. The serpents were no longer drifting at random. They moved in curved lines, circling, tightening, surrounding. "They're hunting," Ren whispered. A junior officer's voice shook. "Should we call for backup?" Ren looked at him with haunted eyes. "Backup from where? The council abandoned us." Jackson straightened. "Not anymore, look." A small icon appeared on the radar, one single ship moving fast toward the human fleet. Ren frowned. "Identify it." Jackson blinked. "It's not one of ours. It's council class." Ren stiffened. "Council ships entering our territory now." The bridge crew tensed, weapons loaded automatically. Jackson read the incoming message. "Ren, they're sending a request, only one sentence." Ren swallowed. "What sentence?" Jackson whispered, "We were wrong, please speak to us." Ren stared at the message, unsure whether to feel furious or hopeful. "Patch them through." A hologram flickered alive, showing the council speaker himself. His old, insect-like face was full of shame. "Human fleet," he said softly, "we come in peace. We know we failed you, we know you feel betrayed, but please listen. The threat is worse than we believed." Ren spoke slowly, carefully. "We already know, we've seen it." The speaker nodded. "And you cannot fight it alone." Ren narrowed his eyes. Why do you care now? The speaker looked pained. Because if you fall, the galaxy falls. The serpent's shadows grew on the radar. Jackson shouted, Ren, incoming. Ren turned sharply. Speaker, you want to help? Then get your envoy ship out of the firing zone. The speaker bowed. Understood, we will withdraw, but we remain on standby for your command. Just say the word. The hologram vanished. Jackson whispered, Ren, do we trust them? Ren didn't answer. He turned back to the screen. We trust ourselves first. The void serpent struck again. A human destroyer screamed over comms before disappearing in a burst of dim light. Another frigate lost its engines and drifted helplessly toward a serpent's open void mouth. Save them, Ren shouted. The carrier Iron Dawn launched grappling energy beams, pulling the drifting frigate away at the last second. The serpent lunged but missed. Jackson gasped. Ren, overload blast from Saul's wrath weakened them. They're slower. Ren nodded. Then we have a chance. Fleet fired a coordinated volley, not at the serpents but at empty space. The energy burst reflected off the metal fragments left from Saul's wrath's explosion. A sudden storm of shining fragments created a bright field of debris. The serpents recoiled, confused. Ren pointed. There, they react to random energy patterns. They can't predict the blasts. Jackson grinned. So we blind them. All ships fire blind. Ren commanded. Scatter shot, continuous pulses, overload their senses. Space lit up like a chaotic storm, beams, flares, exploding decoys, all without pattern. The serpents slowed. For the first time they hesitated. Ren slammed his hand on the console. Humans pushed them back. The fleet advanced. Meanwhile, deep under Terra Command Station, Titan Protocol revealed its secret. Not a machine, not a weapon, a being. A giant humanoid shape stood in a sealed chamber of metal and glass. Its body was pale silver, covered in ancient armor with glowing lines. Its face was expressionless, neither human nor alien. But its chest bore one symbol, a burning blue star, the symbol of old Earth. Ellis whispered, General, this isn't a weapon. Lyra nodded slowly. It's a guardian, a relic from the first wars. A deep voice echoed from the chamber, not mechanical, alive. Has the darkness returned? Ellis stepped back in fear. Lyra stood tall. Yes, humanity needs you. The Guardian's eyes opened bright, blinding blue, then awakened the Titans. Lyra felt her heart pound. There are more of you. The Guardian smiled faintly. There are many. And as the chamber doors opened, the entire station shook, because something ancient, something powerful, something human had awakened. Back in deep space, Ren watched the serpents hesitate under the energy storm. Jackson shouted with hope, Ren, it's working. Ren shook his head. Only for now. We can't hold them forever. Then what do we do? Ren took a deep breath. We wait. Wait for what? Ren's voice softened. For the Titans. And far away on Terra Command Station, alarms blared as massive hangar doors opened, revealing towering shapes stepping into the light. Humanity's oldest warriors, long hidden, long forgotten, but not powerless, never powerless. The Titans marched forward. The galaxy trembled. The ground beneath Terra Command Station vibrated with a deep metallic thunder. It wasn't an attack. It wasn't damage. It was footsteps. Ancient, slow, powerful footsteps. General Lyra Vance stood on the upper walkway of the Titan chamber, gripping the railing tightly as she watched the first Titan awaken fully. The giant humanoid being towered over every machine in the facility. Pale silver armor covered its enormous body. Its glowing blue eyes scanned the room, intelligent and aware. The Titan spoke again, its voice deep, echoing like a drum in a mountain cave. Humanity calls and I answer. Lyra exhaled slowly. Welcome back, Guardian. The Titan inclined its head. Time has changed, but the enemy has not. Ellis stepped forward cautiously. You fought the void serpents before. The Titan nodded. Long ago, when the stars were young and humanity was still learning war. Lyra frowned. Then how did you defeat them? The Titan turned toward her, its voice grim. We didn't. A chill ran down Ellis' spine. Then how did you survive? We sealed them in the dark between galaxies, the Titan explained. We trapped them beyond the veil where even light does not travel, but your world, its glowing eyes dimmed slightly. Your world grew brave, curious, and the seal weakened. Lyra whispered, we didn't know. The Titan shook its head gently. Knowledge is a weapon. Ignorance is a shield. Both can break. Lyra's jaw tightened. Then help us fix this. Humanity needs you now more than ever. The Titan raised its massive hand. Metal doors groaned open around the chamber, revealing dozens more armored shapes, some taller, some broader, some built for speed, others for strength. Rows and rows of Titans, sleeping giants, forgotten guardians. The Titan's voice echoed. Then awaken, my brothers. One by one, their eyes lit up, blue flames igniting in the darkness. The Titans had returned. Far away at the edge of human space, the battle raged on. Lieutenant Ren Kim watched the radar with growing dread. The Void Serpents were injured, slowed, confused by the chaotic energy pulses, but they were not stopped. They drifted closer like predators recovering their strength. Jackson Hale shouted across the Iron Dawn's bridge, "Ren, another serpent breaking through the flank." Ren barked, "Redirect destroyers Alpha and Sigma, but keep distance, do not let them drain your cores." The destroyers obeyed immediately, firing blinding flares and decoys. The serpent twisted toward the lights, confused again, but only for a few seconds. Ren clenched his jaw. This won't work forever. The serpents grew more aggressive with each minute, their movements sharpened, their forms solidifying. They were learning, adapting. A junior officer trembled. "Ren, what if they consume our whole fleet?" Ren didn't look away from the screen. "Then we make sure they choke." Meanwhile, in the Galaxy Council hall, the speaker couldn't sit any longer. He paced endlessly, antennas shaking with stress. "We must go to them," he repeated. "Humanity is sacrificing everything and we sit here in fear." The reptilian representative nodded slowly. "Then we send more than an envoy. We send ships, medical, rescue, research." Another alien, a tall one with 4 glowing eyes, added, "We can offer shield amplifiers and energy diversifiers. The serpents rely on predictable energy. Humans can use chaotic patterns. Our technology can help." The speaker slammed his staff. "Then move." The hall exploded into motion. Delegates ran, messengers sprinted, commands flew across the room. The council had finally awakened from its paralysis. The speaker whispered to himself, "Forgive us, humanity. We come too late, but we come." Back on Terra Command, Titans marched toward launch bays. Each step they took made the entire station tremble. Sparks rained from overhead cables. Engineers scrambled to activate ancient docking systems that hadn't been used in centuries. Lyra walked beside the largest Titan, a massive figure with horns of metal and thick armor plates like a walking fortress. "You're bigger than the others," Lyra observed. The Titan's voice rumbled like thunder. "I was made for war." Ellis swallowed hard. "What should we call you?" The Titan paused. "My old name has been lost for ages, but humans once called me Bulwark." Lyra nodded. "Bulwark, humanity needs you." Bulwark knelt down, lowering its massive face to her level. Humanity always needed itself, and now it remembers. The Titan chambers shook as support beams folded away. Bulwark stood tall again. "Prepare the launch corridors," Lyra ordered. "All Titans deploy." The station's massive outer doors opened like jaws. For the first time in thousands of years, a Titan stepped into the stars. At the battlefront, Ren was losing hope. "We can't push them back," Jackson said, panic rising. "Ren, we're running out of energy decoys and ships are burning too much power." Ren pressed his palms into the console. "Focus fire on the smallest serpent. If we destroy one, maybe the others will hesitate." "But Ren, do it." Every human ship spun and unleashed a coordinated torrent of fire, light, missiles, and kinetic rounds. Space blazed with explosions. The smallest serpent trembled, its form flickering like smoke in a storm. "Keep firing," Ren shouted. Jackson yelled, "It's working, it's breaking apart." The small serpent shrieked, an eerie, silent vibration through space and dissolved into dust. For the first time, a void serpent died. Human ships cheered, voices crackling through comms. But the victory was short-lived. The remaining serpents stiffened. Their shadowy eyes glowed with new understanding. They did not retreat, they attacked together all at once. The bridge alarm screamed. "Ren, they're rushing us." Ren froze. The serpents were faster now, like living black hurricanes. One swallow would destroy a ship, 5 would destroy the fleet. Ren whispered, "This is it." Then the stars behind them exploded with light. Jackson shouted, "Reinforcements!" A massive silver fist smashed through a serpent's head. The crew stared with wide, disbelieving eyes. A Titan glowing blue landed in front of them like a meteor. Ren whispered in awe. No way. The Titan turned its head slightly, recognizing human ships. Fear not. Its voice echoed through the comms. Humanity is not alone. More lights streaked across the sky. 10 Titans, 20, 30. A whole army of ancient giants descended upon the void serpents like gods of old, awakening for war. The human fleet watched in stunned silence as Titans tore into the shadows with glowing hands, energy blades, and gravity hammers. The serpents writhed in pain. Their screams made the stars tremble, but the Titans did not stop. Bulwark slammed into the largest serpent, pushing it away from the fleet. Humanity stands. His massive voice thundered. The Titans rise. Ren finally found his voice and shouted into the fleet-wide comms. Humans, advance, fight with them. The fleet roared forward, spreading fire and light across the void. With Titans leading the charge, human morale exploded like a rising sun. The void serpents were no longer hunters, they were prey. On the Council envoy ship, the speaker watched in shock and awe as the battle lit up the darkness. He whispered, What are those things?" The envoy pilot whispered back, "I think, sir, those are humanity's ancient protectors." The speaker bowed his head. "Forgive us, we had no idea." The battle raged on. Titans tore shadows apart. Human ships fired at every exposed weakness. The serpents began to retreat slowly, painfully, desperately. Ren shouted with fierce pride, "We're winning." Jackson laughed, partly in relief, partly in disbelief. "Humanity is insane," Ren grinned. "We always were." But far away, deeper in the dark, something stirred, larger than all the serpents combined. Older, hungrier, watching, waiting. It opened a single eye, an enormous black sun, the true enemy, the Void King. Humanity's greatest battle was only beginning. The battlefield glowed with the light of Titans and human warships. Fire, energy waves, and metal fragments drifted through the void like a storm of bright dust. The void serpents were falling back, confused, frightened, bleeding darkness. For the first time since the colony vanished, humanity was winning. On the bridge of the Iron Dawn, Lieutenant Ren Kim breathed hard, his chest rising and falling. Jackson status. Jackson Hale ran fingers across his console. "Our fleet damage is high, but we're holding. Titans are crushing them. The serpents are falling fast." Ren nodded slowly. Good, keep pushing. We can't give them room to recover." A cheer ran through the fleet-wide comms as another serpent fell under the combined assault of 3 Titans. The creature burst apart, its body dissolving like ash in wind. Human ships roared in triumph. For a moment, just a moment, the galaxy felt hope again. But deep beyond the battlefield, the stars flickered, as if something enormous moved behind them. A heavy silence filled the bridge. Ren felt the hair on his neck rise. "Jackson, do you see this?" Jackson blinked. Ren, there's a massive gravitational shift. Something huge is approaching." "From where?" Jackson's voice dropped to a whisper. "Everywhere." The Titan sensed it before any sensors did. Bulwark, still gripping the shattered corpse of a serpent, froze. His blue eyes dimmed, then brightened again with urgency. "Brothers, the king comes." The other Titans stopped mid-fight, their weapons dripping with shadow residue. Their ancient voices echoed together, "The Void King." Human ships fell silent. Even the remaining serpents stopped attacking. They shook violently, shrinking as if trying to hide in the void. Ren whispered, What is a Void King?" Bulwark's answer cut through every channel, the first of their kind. The eater of suns, the devourer of galaxies, the shadow that existed when your stars were still dust. The darkness behind the battlefield shifted. A shape vast, unnatural, moved between the stars. The stars dimmed. The cosmic dust swirled. Something impossibly big slithered closer. It did not roar. It did not scream. It simply arrived like the night swallowing a flame. In the Council envoy ship nearby, the speaker fell to his knees. "By the stars, it's bigger than a moon," his pilot trembled. "Sir, if that thing reaches populated space..." The speaker whispered the truth they all feared. No world will survive. The Void King entered human space like a planet-sized shadow made of living darkness. Its body stretched across kilometers, its edges melting into the void. Its mouth was an endless circle of black flame. Stars dimmed around it, fading like dying candles. Bulwark raised his massive fist. "Humans, Titans, stand firm." The king opened its mouth. Light bent, space shook. Every ship's power fluctuated violently. Ren shouted, shields failing, all fleets fall back, fall back. The king inhaled, slow, terrible, and entire asteroids vanished into its maw. Jackson screamed, Ren, if that thing reaches the fleet, we're all gone. Ren slammed his hand on the console. Give me a direct line to Terra Command. At Terra Command, alarms blared like 1,000 sirens. Engineers ran, systems flickered. The Titans marching out of the launch bays paused as a gravitational wave shook the station. General Lyra Vance steadied herself as Ellis grabbed the railing. General, something enormous just appeared. Ellis gasped. Sensors are near collapse. Lyra reached the main display. Her eyes widened. The Void King filled the screen so huge the system couldn't outline it. She whispered, that's impossible. The Titan beside her, towering and calm, shook his head. It is real. Lyra turned sharply. Can you defeat it? The Titan looked into the void with sadness. Alone, no. Together, maybe. He kneeled to her level, but humanity must do what Titans cannot. Lyra narrowed her eyes. Which is? Embrace the fire within. Titan whispered. Your race carries a spark that even shadows fear. What spark? The Titan's voice thundered with certainty, defiance. In the battlefield, the Void King lunged. Its massive presence pulled ships into its gravitational field. Smaller vessels spiraled out of formation, engines screaming. A frigate vanished into the king's shadowy body, disappearing without a trace. Ren, we're losing ships, Jackson cried. Ren's mind raced. Order all ships to polarize engines, full reverse thrusters. But that'll burn out the cores. Better a burned core than no ship. The fleet obeyed, engines roared, ships strained. Metal groaned as the Void King's pull fought against human power. Bulwark leapt forward, slamming into the king's tendrils. His fist glowed bright white as he punched a massive shadow limb away from the fleet. Other Titans followed, firing beams, swinging hammers, unleashing gravity waves. The Void King barely reacted. Bulwark shouted, we cannot match its size, focus on its mind. Ren blinked. Its mind, Jackson, analyze its psychic field. Jackson tapped furiously. Ren, the king communicates across the serpents. It controls them, it guides them. Ren whispered, then if we break that connection, the serpents fall apart. Jackson finished. Ren turned sharply. Signal the Titans, target the central crown. Bulwark heard immediately. Humans have found its weakness. The Titans launched upward in formation, flying toward the king's head. The Void King shrieked, a soundless vibration that shook every hull. Its massive jaws opened. Shadow tendrils whipped forward, swatting Titans away like sparks. Bulwark grabbed one Titan who began floating toward the king's maw. Hold the line, brother. On Terra, Lyra watched data scroll rapidly. Ellis, the king, is using quantum command waves. Ellis narrowed his eyes. Meaning, it can control every void serpent at once, Lyra said. If we break that signal, we break the army, Ellis finished. Lyra turned to the Titan commander. Can your kind reach its mind? The Titan nodded slowly. But we cannot enter alone, we need a human mind beside us. Lyra froze, a human mind, but entering a void entity's psychic field could kill someone. Yes, the Titan said simply. It requires courage. A mind that will not break. Ellis whispered, General, no. Lyra stood taller. I'm not asking for volunteers, I'll do it myself. Ellis grabbed her arm. Lyra, you can't, but the Titan interrupted calmly. You are not the one. Lyra turned. Then who? The Titan pointed to a feed from the battlefield straight to Ren Kim on the Iron Dawn. Him. Back in the battle, Ren shouted orders non-stop. All ships Alpha strike. Titans push forward. The Void King bellowed, swallowing energy blasts whole. Jackson turned. Ren, incoming message from Terra Command. Ren didn't look, put it through. Lyra's face appeared calm, serious, urgent. Lieutenant Ren Kim, this is General Vance. Ren stiffened. General, we're barely holding. The king, Ren, listen to me, she interrupted. We have one chance. The Titans are powerful, but they need a human presence inside the king's psychic field. Someone to anchor them. Ren froze. Inside its mind. Lyra nodded. You have the adaptive neural training. You survived the colony investigations. Your mind held against lower-level shadow influence. Ren whispered, realizing everything at once. You're asking me to connect with that thing? Yes. Jackson's eyes went wide. Ren, no, that's suicide. Ren looked at him sadly. Someone has to try. Lyra's voice softened through the static. You won't be alone. A Titan will go with you, but you must reach the king's core thought, its purpose. Break its link. Free the serpents. Ren closed his eyes. He remembered Captain Arden Locke. He remembered the colony's last message. He remembered fear. Then he remembered something stronger, humanity's refusal to surrender. He opened his eyes. General, I'll do it. Lyra nodded once. Good luck, Lieutenant. The screen faded. Jackson shook his head violently. Ren, you can't. You're the only one holding us together. Ren smiled faintly. Then I guess you'll have to take over. Jackson choked. I'm not ready. No one ever is, Ren said gently. He placed a hand on Jackson's shoulder. You keep them alive, I'll end this. Jackson swallowed his tears. Come back, okay. Ren's smile grew a little wider. I'll try. A Titan soared toward the Iron Dawn, bulky, white-armored, carrying a glowing sphere. Bulwark's voice boomed. Ren Kim, humanity calls for your courage. Ren stepped into the teleport bay. The Titan lowered the sphere. Touch this. You will enter my mind. Together we enter the king's mind. Ren exhaled once. This is for humanity. He touched the sphere. Light exploded. His body fell backward, but his mind rose upward. He floated between stars and shadows, between titans and serpents, between light and void. The Titan's voice whispered in his mind, do not fear, I stand with you. A colossal shadow appeared, bigger than thought itself. The Void King. Its mind was a storm of hunger, rage, memory older than galaxies. It saw Ren, and it attacked. Ren screamed silently. The Titan shielded him, but the king pushed harder. Ren pushed back harder. He remembered Earth. He remembered humanity's spirit. He remembered Arden's sacrifice. He remembered the Titan's words, your spark is defiance. Ren focused. He shouted, not with his mouth, but with his soul, you will not take us. The psychic field cracked. The king roared. Ren pushed harder. The connection shattered like glass exploding. Outside, in real space, the Void King convulsed. Its crown dimmed, its tendrils froze, its body twisted, and every remaining Void serpent shrieked as the king's control broke. The serpents scattered, fleeing into the darkness like insects escaping fire. The king reeled back, wounded, dying. Bulwark raised his hammer. For humanity, Titans struck in unison. The king exploded into a storm of dissolving shadows, vanishing like smoke touched by light. Silence fell across the void. The battle was over. Ren Kim collapsed in the teleport bay, but he was alive. Jackson caught him, sobbing with relief. You did it, Ren, you did it. Ren whispered weakly, no, we did. The Titans bowed their massive heads toward the Iron Dawn. Humanity had faced the oldest shadow in the galaxy, and won. Far away on the Council envoy ship, the speaker bowed his head. Humanity, we owe you everything. Back on Terra Command, General Lyra Vance whispered, Arden, we finished the fight. As Titan Guardians returned to their chambers, Bulwark spoke softly before entering sleep once more. When darkness rises, humanity rises higher. Because that was the truth. Humans didn't shine because they were strong. They shone because they refused to let the night win.